Bjergsen, kind of as expected. Ryze taken off the table, Azir as well. Bjergsen is a monster on those champions. I definitely do not want to give that up. And I like the TF takeaway here from Pobelter. He's a guy who's shown a lot of flexibility with this champion. And because of the way that they like to play a lot around side lanes, Pobelter is a guy who's helping out the side lanes. What champion better to do that on than TF?
Yep, and I like it. There's a TF ban. And what to say, all right, fine, have an Azir ban.
Yeah.
As they take away the Nidalee actually from Reignover. So that jungler still being banned. Swain will be the last one here. We'll see what TSM want for pick number 1.
Yeah, and I think the Swain obviously, could be another Bjergsen special, but Hauntzer can play this as well. It has been in the top lane a fair bit, definitely very strong. And with Nidalee taken off the table, Kindred is available. Kindred traditionally was kind of the tit for tat ban that people were taking off once Nidalee would get taken out, but Kindred being left up here hasn't had nearly as much success, I think, in this updated patch as it has in the past. Especially in competitive play, it's a lot harder to pick up all the bounties, which now give you, the added damage on your Q that had been taken away. So it's definitely a lot weaker in the early game, and Rek'Sai is going to be your first pick.
Actually interesting to see TSM clearly consider Kindred.
Yeah.
Maybe showing that, hey, we know you can play this. Take it if you want. We'll take the Rek'Sai instead, which is arguably the best jungler to take on this patch, given that both Nidalee and Kindred were sort of altered. Immortals, though, you never really know what's going to happen. I expect the first few picks to be safe, but watch these two teams as the series goes on, because these drafts could get wacky. And I wouldn't even fault Huni for playing that. He might just feel like it today, but instead he feels like Irelia, and there's karma for Adrian as well.
Irelia is beastly in the top lane with the new Triforce buffs. Has been absolutely crushing. A great champion there for Huni, who had his own adaptation on the build. He was going with the Frozen Mallet basically every game. A little bit of mixed results against Energy when he was playing that, but definitely very, very strong on the champion. Karma as well is probably, that pick right below Zyra as far as supports go. Gives you the speed up. It's kind of the same principle as the Sivir. You have the AoE speed up, you have strong laning, so you can afford to pick ADCs with a weaker laning phase. If Turtle wants to play something like Twitch or something that's more of a heavy scaling champion, this can put a band-aid on it. And if you want to go early game, well, all of a sudden your support is going to be smashing them right with you.
Yep, and TSM, they actually go for Lucian and Vladimir. So Vlad, one of the big picks here on this patch, and both last week as well.
Yep.
But Doublelift, sort of along with Piglet, has been one of the AD carry players that's still holding on to Lucian as a pick that they really like to play. Most of the other ADs have actually stopped playing Lucian entirely on this patch.
Yeah, Lucian, the range on the Q pass-through is lower. The W range is lower. Q damage is also lower, I do believe. So, some pretty heavy nerfs, but we talk a lot about Doublelift and how fantastic his laning phase is. This is still a monster champion, in that 2v2. Doublelift loves to match up in that and try to smash his opponents. So, if you can get ahead on the Lucian, you can definitely still snowball. You can definitely still become very, very strong in the mid and late game.
Well, pretty predictable stuff here from Immortals, perhaps, as we're going to have a look at Sivi to pairing with that Karma, particularly with Zyra banned away. I do like this from Immortals, and Graves, actually, with a jungler of choice for Reignover. So not going to that standard, I'm going to say this lightly, counter pick of Olaf, which he usually likes to play against into Rek'Sai.
Yeah, he's fantastic at the Olaf. Definitely feeling like they maybe want a little bit higher damage this time around. I think it's a pretty intelligent pick. When you are matching up against something like the Vladimir, you want to be able to have enough damage to chunk him out, to take him down very, very quickly. You cannot play, slow champions and let him kind of hang around. So, a lot of physical damage coming out. We'll see what the last pick is going to be from Immortals, but they are definitely indexed very heavily towards AD, which can be a concern depending on what their last pick is going to be.
Sounds like Pobelter's on victory duty. That's what that sounds like.
It could be, yeah.
Well, TSM, they'll have to finish their draft, so with 10 seconds left, we'll see what they take.
It could also be the Anivia. Anivia has been kind of that counter pick for Vladimir. We'll see if Pobelter wants to opt into that. But the last two picks here for TSM, Trundle and Nami.
I like it. Nami, one of those other range supports. Good call on the Anivia, because they insta-lock it as soon as the draft passes back to them, and now we're finished with the team comms.
Yeah, and these guys obviously are indexing pretty heavily towards lanes. You can see TSM picking Trundle into the Irelia. Trundle is a fantastic 1v1 matchup against basically everything. We do also see, when you're locking into Lucian, you want to be able to go aggressive in lane, give yourself some help with that. The Nami is a fantastic laner. We even see the exhaust is not taken right now by Biofrost. He may decide to swap this up, but Nami is so strong in the 2v2. It gives you a lot of sustain. You have a lot of poke. You're able to enable Lucian to go aggressive with your E. It gets a little bit of bonus magic damage, so slows as well. So it's going to be a pretty explosive 2v2 lane if we do get it. Very excited to see if that's going to happen.
And unsurprisingly, these two teams with excellent drafts to kick off game number 1, starting to get a few of the trends in the metagame as the teams and players work through the patch. The coaches will shake hands, should be very proud, given that we are going to have a very nice start to game 1. Sort of standard, but very exciting to see how these two teams square off in our first one.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think that as far as drafts go, the two are very even. You know, one thing, Trundle's not going to have that super tank to kind of ult and steal all the stats from him. So, you know, much more of a kind of aggressive lineup from Immortals.
Well, we've seen aggression certainly from both these teams. As the players load onto the Rift, so tweet hashtag TSM win or hashtag IMT win to @Elevator Esports and let us know who you think is going to come away with a victory. As always, these two teams have very vocal fans. It's great to have you all here joining us in the battle arena.
I love it.
Let's play some League of Legends. It's time for game number 1, TSM versus Immortals.
We already got the chance. You knew they were coming, and here it goes. I cannot wait. I'm really hoping we do get to have the lane matchups of top lane versus top lane, bot lane versus bot lane. I want to see these guys duke it out. Huni and Hauntzer have been two of the very best top laners this split, and both the bot lane duos are incredible. So far, we do have that kind of line of scrimmage setup. Both teams are spotting each other out, and we'll see if they're going to be willing to opt into this because, you know, everyone has the information that they do need to get those lane assignments.
Well, it's one of those things that's almost like, hey, maybe for game 1 we get standard lanes. Bit of battle early, though. Hauntzer getting a better end of that early trade. Gets the ward. Yeah. Oh!
No. I don't know if he canceled that or if he lost vision as he was swinging.
Yeah.
But usually when you are swinging, the animation will finish even if the ward goes away. So I think he might have double-clicked. He might have mashed it for it. Unlucky.
Unlucky indeed. As Bjergsen hits a bit of poke there from Adrian. Hauntzer, though, not too miffed about the ward kill or lack thereof. Just having a dance next to Svenskeren, as we do see WildTurtle and Adrian making their way to that top side of the map. So
yeah, they're opting out of this 2v2. And that is something, you know, Dyrus and the guys at the desk kind of talked about. Is the strength of Doublelift in the 2v2, picking Lucian plus the Nami, and it's not going to be something that Adrian and WildTurtle want to actually match up into. So we are going to have lane swaps, and early on, we're going to have the invade from both the duos, trying to spot each other's junglers out, see if they can delay them, see if they can harass them, and
ooh, deep invade actually here. Adrian looking for something. It's also the Svenskeren. Big damage there on the early stages, and the wolf goes away. Sven does smite it. Hauntzer still turning it around, but Sven awfully low. Adrian still getting chased down, though. They're battling for this last wolf. Who's going to get it? Looks like it might be Hauntzer. WildTurtle wants it. Adrian steals it away.
Wow, that is a really big invade for Immortals. They actually, not only do they steal both the little camps away, they actually force Svenskeren to base at level 1, so he's super delayed. Look on the other side of the map. Reignover and Huni were not slowed down really at all. I mean, they got pushed off the Gromp. They couldn't, you know, it's not like they can do a full jungle clear, but they're both very healthy. Reignover's already level 2, clearing up his buff, and Sven's going to be in this rough situation where Hauntzer has to go to lane. He has to help push the turret now. So this is a solo clear that's going to have to be done by a level 1 Rek'Sai. TSM already a little bit behind on this. We'll see if Reignover can extend the lead and kind of get up in Svenskeren's face.
Yeah, well, Sven doing those crocs. Reignover doing his on the other side of the map as Immortals are going to start this standard push. Sven finally hits level 2, but is pretty significantly behind Reignover. About a level in XP so far. As we'll see what Sven decides to do now. He's pinging that strong side of the map. Looks like he's going to go over to the blue buff area, which makes sense, but we are going to get at least a very standard start to this game. 2 different 3v0 pushes, and these towers should fall very quickly. These teams are absolutely practiced at this point.
Yeah, they definitely are. Two of the very best teams. You know, Immortals always praise for their macro play. I think it really is their strength. TSM definitely a great macro team as well. But to me, they've always been more about, you know, the individual skill than they have just the strength of their macro game.
Well, you can see both teams actually pushing pretty far forward. Turtle took some damage to try and pull that wave off a bit. Looks like Huni going to stick around for the gold. Everyone's going to, I think, collect some of it maybe. We'll see how long Immortals want to stay on this side, because TSM actually took the turret a little faster. Huni, though, as almost always, will get the bounce and the local gold from the tower.
Yeah, and not like Svenskeren's completely out of this game and that you can look at the massive amount of CS difference, but still, it is a really good edge for Reignover. It's 17 CS, 18 CS to 5 right now, so he is significantly ahead and should be able to maintain that lead. Reignover is always a guy who's super aggressive. Everyone praises him for his map movement, for his control, and when you're gifted this nice of an early game lead as a jungler, you can often really extend it and make it a pain for your opponent.
Well, looks like we have swaps back, although we're going to have some more tower pushing by the looks of things. Doublelift currently up in the top side all by his lonesome, but Biofrost going to go ahead and join him. Turtle, though, heading down to that bottom side will push Hauntzer off that wave in the bot lane.
Yeah.
And we should have some more turret trading here.
Hauntzer, though, did actually pick up a fair bit of that CS. It's all going to be crashed into the turret, and they are probably going to lose eventually. They're going to go for their own turret trade. But nice job by Hauntzer, kind of sneaking down, picking up some farm, getting that extra experience. So that is a good little edge for him. And meanwhile, you know, this is supposed to be the Anivia counter matchup, and Bjergsen is kind of pushing Pobelter around pretty well here in the mid lane and not actually really playing afraid. I think it will pick up a lot for Pobelter once he does hit 6, as you can get those kind of ER trades where you just get the proc very quickly from that. But for now, we are seeing Bjergsen do very well, and he's going to be able to make his way up to probably an early cowl and start ignoring a lot of Pobelter's damage.
Yeah, starting to see a bit more of this matchup, so definitely curious to track it as we move through, but Immortals going to be busy with this turret now. 3v0 pushing. Adrian actually cancelled Hauntzer's recall, which is kind of rude, but Hauntzer will just waddle back to that top half of the map and keep pushing with his team. TSM might be a little behind on this push, but it shouldn't affect him too much. And again, we have a very standard start to this game, but we're curious to see what happens once the lanes open up, as Immortals are going to claim that turret. Huni's sharing a bit of the gold this time. How very generous.
Yeah, he is going to share that over. I'm sure it wasn't his idea. He's like, come on, guys, get out of there. But it is going to be split up. And now we will likely have the teams starting to meet up. This turret top lane actually wasn't taken out by TSM, who's actually trying to rotate down. I think they want to stop this dragon as they have sniffed it out, and they're all moving down here. Svenskeren has arrived. Bjergsen is here. Immortals is going to get pushed off of this, but you know, good job by TSM. But if they can't take the top turret, it is advantage Immortals because they've already taken down 2.
Adrian. Oh, cancels the recall, running away.
Double in trouble here.
Him, slows that.
This is going to be first blood.
Doublelift, the first blood does go to double. Not done, Huni. Oh, we are done. Teleports to safety.
And Adrian, wrong place, wrong time. Pretty greedy spot to back. Should have walked out with the rest of the squad. Does not, hangs around, gets punished. Thank you very much, says Doublelift, as he is going to pick up a very easy first blood. And look at the CS advantage extending already over WildTurtle. It's not the situation Turtle was hoping for, as they are now going to have to, you know, move into that 2v2 lane. And this Lucian is going to be big.
Look at this top side of the map. You mentioned it already. Tower not down yet, but Hauntzer, decent little wave pushing in, might be able to take it now, although it does have 2 members of Immortals there. Huni actually just joining in, and Hauntzer will have to give that up. He's 2 levels ahead. And a decent amount of CS as well, but Hauntzer knows it's not safe without vision of the jungler. Exactly.
Doesn't know where Reignover is, doesn't want to risk it, and they will be able to eventually pick up that turret, so it's not the end of the world, as it is fairly low. But Huni is going to try to fend off Hauntzer. Not going to be able to do it, though. Hauntzer should be able to take out this pink ward, no problem. And now we see the first buy from Doublelift, result of that first blood. He grabs himself a serrated Dirk.
Yeah, I don't know if Huni wants this, though. Hauntzer actually just going in. He's 5-3 right now. Little low on mana. Does that flash in for the auto. And he gets the solo kill.
And he gets out scot-free. And Huni just did not want to blow his flash there, was trying to be very greedy. And he's going to get punished big time.
Yeah, Sven and Reignover now fighting in the jungle. Reignover's level 6, but Sven wins the early trade. Good coverage here on the top side to make sure Hauntzer gets away. And Reignover, this is dangerous.
It is dangerous. You know, Sven took that red buff, which is massive in these early fights. Reignover should be okay to hold this off, though, as Hauntzer has to base, you know, unless they're trying to do anything crazy. TP back for a dive, I don't think so. But Hauntzer is going to have a massive advantage over Huni here, and Huni just disrespected his opponent, and he gets smashed for it. And look at that first buy, Tiamat already.
Oof.
It's going to be a rough 1v1 there. And here we have it, you know, Huni sticking around, did not want to give up the pink ward, and Hauntzer says, you can protect that, but you can't protect yourself. Huni's still holding onto the flash, does get the equilibrium strike under the turret, but the Q was already queued up. It does land, and he gets himself a nice, easy solo kill.
Nice play there from Hauntzer. We'll see where he goes now. He's actually heading bottom side. Going to try and clear that out, although I think TSM are doing the dragon, as the WildTurtle and Huni actually pushing the top tower. Starting to see a bit of a trend as far as objective trades go. TSM will get the Infernal Drake for their trouble, but Immortals might get a tower out of the deal.
Yeah, Immortals does not want to fight right now. They are basically just on the run. They are trying to avoid TSM at all costs. You know, Turtle has no interest in laning against Doublelift right now, and Huni now says, get me out of here. I don't want to lane against this Trundle. So they're going to go for the trade. Looks like they can push down this turret, and they are going to have a 2-turret early advantage here. Pretty nice job there by Immortals, making the best of a bad situation. TSM, though, does pick up the Infernal Dragon, which is going to be big later.
Yep, curious to see when that top tower falls down. You said it before, it's sort of like it will likely go down eventually. So expected value on the turret pretty high, but they will have to get it. And even then, there's still a turret behind. So interesting objective trades early on as we check back in with the mid lane. Bjergsen actually hanging out with a 20 CS lead over Pobelter with the Vladimir. Spirit Visage almost completed, but Pobelter is building up those early mana items, so nothing out of the ordinary just yet here in the mid lane.
Hauntzer pushing up pretty aggressively, getting a little chip on that turret. Gonna have to back off though, as he knows Immortals had based, and they're gonna be arriving as a squad. Doing a good job for himself though. It was a bit over a level, like a level and a half up on Huni, which is pretty huge and a nice matchup for him. Svenskeren has really evened things out as far as the jungle matchup goes, catching up pretty nicely in the CS. And mid lane, Bjergsen is extending a pretty big lead for himself, honestly, up 23S in 3 CS in what is supposed to be a great matchup for him. So looking like Pobelter is having a bit of a tough time. And as Bjergsen picked up that Spirit Visage, it's just going to get even harder.
Yeah, and it feels like sort of the expected early game here for TSM. 3 solo laners all currently winning in CS, although Huni is doing a nice job catching up after the early lane swap trades. Immortals, though, strong macro game as ever. So 11 minutes in and a very even game. Gold reflecting that, as well as Hauntzer fancies himself as a bit of a jungler, taking away that Scuttle Crab, but he knows he needs to buy time and wait for Huni to push that wave back towards him.
This is honestly one of the very best things about Immortals, and I think it's what makes them a great team, is that regardless of what's happening, okay, we lost some kills here, we got first blooded there, that's fine. We're going to pick up objectives. They're always on the ball with trading turrets, getting the most out of bad situations, and because of that, they're rarely ever in extreme disadvantages. They may be behind in kills, but they're usually right in there as far as gold.
And now TSM taking that
Svenskeren may want to dive here.
Lead. Yeah, Sven does want to dive. Turtle in trouble. Does spell shield, but the knockup there will flash, but still gets stunned on the back end. Teleport in though, TSM now caught out between 2 turrets. Huni looking for a kill, double, takes out Turtle, and now Huni has to flash out of the way. Gets himself exhausted, but TSM are gonna flash in for it! Svenskeren, so aggressive, claims the kill.
Huge plays by TSM, and they are looking to crack open another turret, and they could actually, you know, move mid lane and potentially go for a dive on Pobelter or go for that turret as well, because it's a 5-man squad up here for TSM. They are pinging the Rift Herald, though. They want to extend the lead for Hauntzer.
And we talked about it, TSM's almost newfound aggression. They know exactly what to do around the map, but they're not just waiting for it to happen. They are taking every advantage they see. Huge tower dive in the top lane, plus maybe the Rift Herald as well. TSM up almost 2,500 gold.
That's huge. And Double is getting so aggressive, not punished for it. Now has a completed Ghost Blade over Turtle, who is falling very behind, and Turtle is looking like he's going to be in a world of trouble if they ever do have to match up. Doublelift going big, and Svenskeren with a nice path to that top lane. Played the dive really well, waits for the spell shield, pokes it off with his Q, then gets the knock-up. So pretty much a flawless dive here. And we can see it started off. There's a spell shield, waits for it, pops him up, and look at Doublelift getting in there. They know exactly the limits of their team. Huni's already coming in. Doublelift finishes off the kill very intelligently. Had they retreated, could have got stunned up and maybe chased down, but a really great rotation as well from Bjergsen. He was up there first. Didn't need to get involved, but good stuff.
He did my favorite mid lane TP, which is where you take Ghost and you run up there as fast as possible. So with that new load cooldown, plus the Ionian boots of Lucidity.
Got those Lucidity boots.
Able to get up there nice and swiftly. Infernal Drake number 2 up in a minute 50. TSM looking to maybe start really snowballing this game away. And that top lane, which is the most even one so far as the CS goes. Huni, yes, up in CS by a bit, but Hauntzer getting that Rift Herald. Feels like all 3 solo lanes are starting to tip in favor of TSM.
It is pretty even as far as CS goes, but he has the solo kill. He has the Rift Herald. He is quite a bit ahead for sure. Reignover always, doing his best to stay relevant farming it up. He hasn't gotten involved really in any kills yet, but because his farm is so high, he's going to be a solid contributor regardless.
Yep, I like the Berserker Greaves as well. Just a bit of extra damage there for the Graves.
Yeah, not really any CC he has to worry about. Because Swifty Boots have been nerfed a lot of times, people are finally starting to shy away from them a little bit more. I like the Berserker Greaves, definitely going to help out, and it's looking like he may be building towards actually, a Black Cleaver has parts of that. Could be a Sterix or something as well. I think Black Cleaver would make a lot of sense with all the physical damage, but...
Phase check from Reignover almost, but Anivia's going to cover. Reignover gets chunked about 30% HP. TSM just trying to play aggressive with the Drake coming up, making sure they have control of the right-hand side of the map.
It's a really tough position for Immortals because there's actually no winning matchup for them right now. And Huni's not in a position where you can just outplay Trundle, right? Trundle is just going to straight up outstat you if you go in on him.
Oh my god.
Bjergsen does not care about that damage.
Big damage. That's a Spirit Visage Vlad.
Yeah.
Just chunking out the Anivia. TSM looking to really continue their dominance of this bottom side. And Huni's top with no TP. That's pretty much Immortals saying, you know what? Take the Infernal Drake. You get this one.
They know they can't actually contest for it. They're weaker in every position. Huni is just going to try to split push it out, try to pick up some farm, and hope that he can get himself into a position where he can eventually 1v1. But it's going to be really tough as Trundle, that's his specialty. He's so strong in this. Hauntzer gets the Rift Herald buff. It's going to be there for so long, and Immortals is going to have to look for some serious outplay, and they're going to have to look for really delaying the game. They want to go late, scale up on Turtle so he can catch up, get this Anivia going, and hope to just win in the late game fights.
Well, double Infernal Drake going to add to TSM's very snowbally approach to this game, although things have slowed down a bit because Immortals are, I think, like you've mentioned, correctly ceding territory at this point. See what other more damage TSM can do, though, as Doublelift currently pushing down this bottom side, but looks like it's time to back up and spend some of that gold and brief reprieve. Yeah, respite even. We're done.
Why not both? But
reprieve spite.
Yeah, there you go. But we do see that Doublelift, he's probably going to be going into the Black Cleaver build. So he is still going that kind of build that had been so popular, the Ghostblade Black Cleaver. Wants to go for that mid-game spike, and Infernal Dragon is actually the most effective by far as teams with a lead. So as far as the win rates go, if you're already winning, this dragon is way better than all the other dragons. But in close games, they're all pretty close. So,
and I feel like the Drakes might be listening to TSM.
Yeah,
because that's Infernal Drake number 3 coming up.
Oh my god, that is so brutal for Immortals. That's honestly hard.
Oh, Bjergsen diving. Pobelter going to get chunked by the culling. Has the egg, but Doublelift just does not touch the stun. Immortals flashing forward. Reignover blows him away with the ulti. And now Bjergsen, caught out position, is going to pop the Hemo Plague down. Healing will get there once a proc. Bjergsen just need to stay alive. Huge amount of help from the puller. Sven dives in onto Reignover. Pobelter, though, trying to defend his tidal wave, comes in to push them away. Immortals still on the offensive. But looks like the fight disperses.
Yeah, great job there by Immortals. They pounce on the mistake from Doublelift. Pobelter catches him with a stun, and no hesitation. You see Reignover flash forward, lands the ult. They go for the full combo. Pobelter flashing in for the ignite. They pick up a kill. It's a shutdown, and it does buy them some time. They need to keep looking for this. Huni, though, pretty far up. Always has to be aware of that Trundle pillar. It's going to be so hard to run away from him.
And Sven and Biofrost actually straight behind him. So we'll watch this one again.
Yeah, and Bjergsen is getting aggressive. He can afford to do this. He's very, very tanky. He's not too scared, but here comes Doublelift, and it's a great wall from Pobelter. Doublelift doesn't want to flash, thinks he's out of range, but nope, it's too little too late. Reignover flashes in for the auto ult. Great job by Pobelter and Reignover capitalizing on Doublelift's mistake.
Yeah, Immortal still showing that even when behind, they know when to make the play. Doublelift wasting that flash, unfortunately, but only cost them 1 kill.
It does only cost them 1 kill, and they're still heavily ahead, especially when you consider the stat weight of the Drakes, as well as that third one. If they can get the third one, it's 24% ADAP. Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah, Hauntzer and Reignover actually having a fight, but Reignover not afraid. Red buff, though, going to get stolen away once again by TSM. Continuing that control of the jungle. This is what Reignover's known for on the champion. Svenskeren showing that, hey, I've got a pretty good Rek'Sai as well.
Doing great for himself. He's getting very tanky. Well, we talked about how much AD damage there is on Immortals. And, this is a Svenskeren who's just going to be building straight into the armor. He's not super concerned about Pobelter just yet.
Turtle, trouble? Does pop the ulti, keeps himself safe, but...
Yeah, you can see the pings onto Reignover. They saw him there. They decided we don't want to commit, don't want to end up overextending, especially since Doublelift does not have the summoners after that mid lane skirmish.
Yep. Svenskeren though just clearing out some wards. Looks like TSM trying to crack the mid lane turret more than anything else. They do need a bit more room. Try and open up the map and see if they can't keep snowballing, but Pobelter has done a great job on the Anivia, keeping that turret alive for as long as possible. TSM though very vigilant about clearing wards out. Immortals again just buying time at this stage of the game, trying to make sure Huni and the rest of the squad can get going towards that mid game.
Pretty interesting to see Hauntzer go for the Titanic Hydra. This time we have been seeing Ravenous as pretty much the always option, but Bjergsen may be going for a dive here. Reignover looks like he's gone.
Yeah, he's dead, I think. Reignover living for a little while, but Sven does finally take him out. Bjergsen still diving in, but Huni's actually made his way in. Sanguine pull out from the stun as Huni now the focus. Svenskeren knocks him up. Damage is there. The stun's good, but Sven gonna get the double kill. Flashes out, but still dies to Turtle on the back end. That's gonna be extra gold for that Siva.
Bjergsen is just so aggressive on this Vladimir. He's gotten himself very ahead, and he is making it look easy. Probably going to be building into a Warmogs, I think.
They're going again, I think. Now this is the issue. Wall's in there, but Bjergsen's still going to fight it out. Tower getting low. Bjergsen with a Crimson Rush healing goes through. Pobelter low. Does not get egged. Turret goes to TSM, though.
He's just ridiculous.
He's crazy.
Tanky. They can't push him off. They're too far behind as far as item pacing goes, and Bjergsen is just becoming an absolute monster. He just doesn't even care about the turret. He's just zoning them off it time and time again, allowing his team to get chip damage on it. And here we do have that dive. You can see Bjergsen just walking up, constantly threatening the dive, and now he sees his moment as Svenskeren comes in. They make the collapse. Bjergsen tanking up the turret. Reignover goes down, and so close to picking up Pobelter as well. But in the end, the turret is going to fall. Svenskeren will trade his life, but it's a double kills for Sven, and it's multiple flashes to pick up that jungler's kill.
Yep, so definitely a worth trade there for Sven. As TSM continuing their aggression in this game. Immortals, though, doing a great job of damage control in this game. It's only 2,000 gold up still for TSM, which is a nice lead, but Immortals have sort of kept it at that position for a number of minutes now.
The big question, though, can Immortals contest this next Infernal? They cannot afford to go down 3 Infernal Drakes to none. They know that. They're hovering around here. They have their whole squad already in place. They really want to fight for this. And this is going to be a deciding point in this game.
Not sure TSM have had a chance to spend all their gold just yet, but definitely grouping around it to try and fight. Looks like just Sven with a bit of extra gold in his back pockets.
Yeah, Doublelift did just base. He's running back out there as fast as they can. Immortals is trying to rush it, though. If Doublelift gets here, he's going to be so strong.
Steal! Svenskeren takes away the Drake, and Immortals book it.
That is heartbreaking for Immortals. Svenskeren does not get zoned out. Immortals knew they couldn't fight. They tried to rush it, and Svenskeren comes up huge for TSM.
Big play there as the Pillar's going to cut them off at the pass. Bubble there as well. TSM trying to buy time for this turret, but Minion Wave not cooperating. Immortals here to defend in time.
Just look at the AD carry itemization. Another dive coming in. Bjergsen just doesn't care.
Bjergsen double ulti. Svenskeren's going to egg Belter on the left-hand side. Bjergsen with a 1v2 takes out 2, and TSM explode under the turret.
Bjergsen is unstoppable in this game. 2 more kills for the mid laner, just destroying them. TSM wants the Baron.
And they're going to go straight for it. Triple Infernal Drake TSM. Going to try and take this Baron down, and Immortals are nowhere to be seen for the contest.
They're going to try something, I think, but they don't really have much chance. WildTurtle, Adrian moving over. This is desperation time for Immortals. They don't want to give it up, but they cannot get through Bjergsen. There's no way.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. Bjergsen, a double lift onto Turtle. Turtle going to go down. Bjergsen flashes in for the ace with Tides of Blood.
The delayed ace Baron, 3 Infernal Dragons. Why not? TSM are making this one look easy.
11 and 2, but let's watch this beautiful dive again.
Yeah, watch the side fight here from Bjergsen. The 1v2 on Huni and Reignover. They cannot do enough damage to get through him. He's too fed. Pobelter in the meantime has gotten locked down. A nice CC chain from Biofrost does land the bubble after the knock-up from Sven. So fantastic fights on both sides, but Bjergsen is going off. This guy is unstoppable. And now he's going aggressive with his build, picks up the Rylai's, almost has his Zhonya's as well. I just do not see how they will ever be killing Bjergsen in this game.
Yeah, and TSM approaching 7,000 gold in the lead, 11-2 in kills, and now up 2 turrets with the Baron buff. Immortals were already playing on the back foot. This will be quite the storm to weather through this buff. But Immortals, if any team can do it, they're the ones that can hold on. But TSM, they're just not letting them breathe in this game.
No, they're not. And one of the toughest parts is that TSM is a great team to dive, right? We're showing how easy it is for them to just aggress under these turrets. It's not like they can't get in there and finish the game off, and I think they're going to be looking to do just that. TSM, smells blood in the water, and I think they want to finish the game. They're going to be looking for mid lane turret, and they go for the dive.
3-lane pressure right now. Pobelter getting zoned off by Sven. Hauntzer, sorry, going to join in as Reignover almost gets himself chunked by double. That's going to be a tower in mid going down. Immortals not here in time to defend. This inhibitor, are you going to give it up? Because TSM is going to take it if you let them.
There's no choice to fight now. Immortals has to give it up. They didn't fight at the turret. They can't fight for the inhibitor, but TSM is going top lane, and this may be where Immortals tries to make their stand, because I think if they don't, TSM's just going to end it.
Hauntzer bottom lane as well, so again, that's multiple lane pressure continuing for TSM. Plenty of Baron buff left to play with. Huni now just gets his teleport back up as well. Even Sven moving between the lanes, keeping the Baron empowered minions in. This is real tough for Immortals to defend right now.
So hard as Svenskeren moving up here too. The minions are very tanky, especially this early in the game. WildTurtle doesn't even have a second item completed. Reignover in trouble. Doublelift going aggressive.
Yeah, Anivia with the wall, and Doublelift says, all right, I'll just try and kill your mid laner, or jungler, sorry. As Huni is going to defend against Hauntzer, but Hauntzer is not particularly perturbed. Svenskeren actually maybe threatening a dive. They'll go in for it. Ulti proc. Huni is very squishy, and now Bjergsen's in as well. That'll force the flash out. Karma going to get him to safety. Adrian pops the exhaust as well, but TSM, they just do not stop.
Yeah, make it 2 inhibitors. Why not? And Bjergsen going out. Pobelter, he doesn't have egg.
Pobelter's dead. Doublelift takes him out. Reignover trying to get out from under Bjergsen, but Bjergsen just pops the ulti and chases them into their fountain. Bjergsen locked up, but he's just tanking 4 members on his own.
I think TSM could end it. We'll see if they're going to stay around. Super Minions are here, and they are looking to end this game 25 minutes in. TSM lays a beating on Immortals.
TSM going in to try and clean it up. The fight is starting. WildTurtle gets blown up on the left-hand side, and the Nexus exposed. TSM looking for blood. Adrian gets popped. Immortals cannot defend. Huni melts in the eyes of TSM. Reignover, the last man standing. Immortals not this game. Reignover just lives to see his Nexus die. TSM with one hell of a game, number 1.
Wow. That was a statement game if I have ever seen it. People saying, ooh, I don't know, team's looking close. TSM comes in here, cleans up the game so fast. Every lane got smashed. The jungle advantage heavily in the favor of Svenskeren, even with that disadvantage, and TSM looked incredible in game 1.
And what do we keep hearing? It's a new TSM.